best of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz, starring our best hate hot takes. Dan destroys Bill Burr's podcast.
I have been accused by the group here of ending the podcast he did with Bill Burr. It was an unusual experience. I was backpedaling the whole time. Bill Burr was unreasonably angry at me, as he often is, just generally, not at me. He's an angry comedian, and I don't know what this sound is, but I was the last guest on this podcast, and the group is telling me that I ended the podcast.
Well, the Bill Bert podcast with Bill Burr and Bert Kreischer.
Good name.
It had a nice little run, but the last episode was June 2021, and Dan was the last guest. So I don't know, maybe contracts ran out, or Dan just single-handedly killed the podcast. Another fun thing about this sound, though, is the audio quality. You could tell their podcast, your side, like it's all living in the pandemic. Before we figured out how to do audio from home, I'm telling you though, listen to this audio. Like Bill's is bad and Dan's is bad.
I just said that you seemed a little upset today because we had interrupted your grilling, and also because the city of Boston had lost the moral high ground after throwing a water bottle at the very end. They had done so well. The bar was so low, Bill. The bar was so low. It was just Kyrie Irving said, please don't say racist or do racist things out loud.
Do you know why the guy threw the water bottle? Maybe he threw it because we gave up the team to bring him in, and he was all moody, and we lost all our momentum, and we're still trying to rebuild. What about that aspect of it?
There are plenty of reasons to be mad at Kyrie Irving in Boston that have
No, that's not that. You know something, dude? I want to know where you live, because I'm not saying Boston isn't racist, but this bullshit that white guys like you try to do, that racism exists only in the South and in Boston, Massachusetts, is a crock of shit. I've been on the road for 30 years, and the people have said to me, and because I got my wife, you know, I got to go home to her and all of that, I had to learn how to navigate, like knowing the N-word was coming, and that happened to me in every state. So don't come at me, Dan, with, oh, Boston, they're making all white people look bad. Get the out of
For the
here.
record, Dan Le Batard's Cuban, and they are way more racist than white people.
Who came at you? Nobody came at you. And I know America's racist. I believe
Well, then
this.
stop with this horse that it's like everybody else can do their bull, right? And then all of a sudden it's just like, oh my God. How about every time the Lakers win a championship, within 20 minutes, a police car is turned upside down and on fire? What is that an expression of? How well they're being treated out there?
That is not an expression of celebration I have ever understood. We've all come out of
It's because they're being oppressed and they're getting pulled over for nothing and getting the kicked out of them. And that's what happens. And then what happens is, once again, they go down there, they're just trying to have a good time because their team won the championship, and then they get this keep it moving vibe that they get every day of their life, and next thing you know, a police car is upside down. So don't come at me with this, oh, Boston again. Get the out of here.
Who came at you with anything, Bill? I was saying hello to you.
You did, with the moral high ground, like your heart was broken.
My heart is not broken from what happened in the Boston Celtics game yesterday. My heart is broken as what happened in America over the last year. We come out of a pandemic, and as soon as we do, we're throwing popcorn at Russell Westbrook, we're spitting on Trae Young, and we're throwing bottles at Kyrie Irving after what we just came out.
All right, well, in fairness to me, I don't watch the NBA because I think it's rigged. It's cast like a soap opera.
Chris Cody, mortified, just realized that he forgot to edit any of the words Bill Burr
There were
just
bad words?
said.
Just a couple.
Well, the podcast listeners will have it bleeped because I'll do it in post. But yes, I did in the sound
This
they
is
just
live?
heard, forgot to bleep it.
I love the visual of you backpedaling because I can see it, like Jalen Ramsey. I mean,
with a beeping sound
They didn't
because
do
Dan's
another
rather
episode
large.
out of this? Oh.
Bill Burr's publicist after that was like, okay, no more of these.
I want you to picture me backpedaling in Jalen Ramsey's uniform away from an angry Bill Burr.
We were reliving earlier in this show how Dan apparently ended your podcast with Bill Burr. It's the last episode ever. So
It's an interesting episode, isn't it? Have you ever heard it?
The podcast with Bill Burr. That wasn't really. No, that
You
wasn't.
ended
That
it.
was
You.
no, because it didn't. What is that? Why it ended? That can't be why it ended, Bert.
Please say it did. Please say it was. Please say it was.
leaning back helps, I feel like.
I wish I
I'm going
could-
to take.
I wish I
I gotta
could
lean
say
back.
that.
So you're serious? You invite me on and we blindside Bill Burr during a barbecue and he was mad about it and that's it? It ended a popular podcast?
I thought it would go so much better. He was, what's so funny is it was the second to last time I've spoken to Bill.
Oh no.
Ended a friendship.
Oh
my God.
And so I haven't, and so I think it was probably more. I don't know what happened.
Bert, I went in knowing do not provoke Bill Burr, do not provoke a comedian. It will go very poorly for you. I spent the entire interview backpedaling, but he got very angry off the top about the idea that Boston might have some racist tendencies.
He was extremely ornery.
But isn't he always?
It was a side of Bill. Like I've known Bill for a long time. I've been friends with Bill for probably 20 years, 20 plus years. I'll always be friends with Bill. We have not talked in a while, but I'll always be friends with Bill. I love Bill. I respect him. But man, that was a ornery interview. Like I think what was happening was he was grilling out with his family and forgot that we had a podcast. And so when he came in and had to miss the grillings, I think that's what's happened. I don't know exactly, but I know that I was in Serbia. I kept cutting out and I'd come back in and hello.
That was Roy walking into the room. I stopped you dead. I don't know why Bert
walked in like Bobby Shmurda in a prison shower.
How you guys doing?
Why did you look at why did Roy stop you in your tracks like that being shirtless?
He stopped and just stared at me like I was in the wrong shower stall.
Continue, please.
But yeah, I think that was it. And then I think that I was cutting in and out and I'd cut back and I jump in at wrong times and I was like, I just should shut up. And then I was in Serbia. I was finishing the movie. We didn't talk obviously then. And then when we got back, the podcast ended. He just didn't have enough time. He didn't have time for it. I don't think it was you. I think it had to be me.
I don't believe you.